Brill is one of the largest publishers in the humanities, with over 3 centuries of experience in international publishing in 22 main areas, including Asian studies, history, Middle East and Islamic studies, and international law.
My first book, Meta Voices in the Arabic tradition, came out in a series on Middle Eastern literatures, Brill's series on Middle Eastern literatures. And I thought this was a great opportunity to join a community of scholars. I learned a lot from the experience of working with the editors of the series, and I think being part of this series enabled my work to exist in conversation with works that were in the series' earlier works. And again, it's this sense of community when you feel that you're contributing to an ongoing conversation and that you have an audience of professional listeners or readers, and then hopefully a larger audience of non-professionals.
At Brill, you'll be working with our experienced team of acquisitions editors who will collaborate with you to publish the best version possible of your manuscript.
Staff at Brill are generally very helpful, are very understanding of time constraints that we may have as we are, writing our books, the publication process, the printing process. Generally, Brill staff are very helpful and are very understanding of the kind of problems we may face at certain points.
Brill works hard to ensure that your research is disseminated beyond conventional humanities publishing platforms to help your work reach a global, diverse audience.
I was very excited at this opportunity to be able to publish with Brill, that I know is a great supporter of the arts, of art history, of Ottoman studies as well.
Again, it goes back to this sense of community, to being heard and understood, and to learn along the way from people who are experts in the field and who are writers and who know much about the craft and the challenges of writing as well.
On your end, as publishers, you take some of the burden off our shoulders and help us out at that very last minute.
They've been really helpful on explaining the process, in being very prompt, and just really being very supportive throughout.
Scholarship is, I think, in many ways, and perhaps even primarily, community. Scholarship moves forward, knowledge moves forward when there are a group of individuals working on the subject, communicating with each other, not in isolation, but working together. And that nexus of ideas makes us understand the world in a clearer and better way. And Brill is very much a part of that community. If you look at the scholars on the editorial boards, the people who are in charge of the quality control at Brill, these are some of the best scholars in my field in the world, and this holds for others as well. So it's a natural place to want to send your scholarship to be reviewed. So when you publish an established series like Semitic Languages and Linguistics, for me, you join a community of scholars. And it's a stamp not of approval, not saying that everything that you produce is correct, but that it's in conversation and going towards the same goal with others in that field. So that was a primary reason I chose to publish with Brill, and I was also happy to find out that there aren't any subvention fees. So my scholarship, if accepted, was accepted on its merits, not based on any money I would have to pay for publication, and that takes a lot of stress off of a young scholar who already has to apply for a lot of grants, doesn't have to apply for a grant to publish their work. And finally, in what I discovered publishing with Brill, is the professionalism. You are looking at a turnaround time with your book within a year, I would say. You have clear lines of communication with the copy, with the typesetter, copy editors, with the editors themselves, series editors, and the reviewers the entire way. You get copious amounts of comments on your work that you can incorporate and make your final book really the best it can be. You get multiple proofs to check to make sure that everything is the way it should be in terms of typesetting and in terms of content. And that is not something you can take for granted. There are very few places, I publish widely right now, there are very few places that can offer that level of professionalism.
At Brill, we value publishing excellence and recognize the years of effort spent behind the scenes of each scholarly publication. We put your research first, and we want to give your work a home.